Natalie Blank here from natalieblank.com.au. So today I want to talk about spiritual load. So we understand that the people we have effect on, when we pass away, we relive our lives from the points of view of those we have affected. But it's not just about those in our immediate realm, our friends, our family, our workmates, our pets, for instance. It goes beyond that, and that's where the term spiritual load comes in. So we live in a world where there's consumerism, where we buy things that come from places we have no idea about. So for instance, when it comes to the foods we consume, if the foods we are consuming have been produced in a non-ethical way, in a way that affects someone in the production badly, if we eat foods that are produced unethically, so that in some way, sorry about the wind, that in some way affect people or animals in a bad way, then we end up with some of that load, some of the load of that. Because basically if we don't buy a product because we know it's sourced unethically, then the people who are selling it will have to either not sell it or find a way to produce it ethically. So we do actually have a say in how things are produced in that way. So if, for instance, I'm just going to take a really easy one to understand. If you are eating meat, and I'm not saying that we need to all be vegetarian. If we are eating meat, that meat must be produced, sourced, and be made into meat in as ethical way as possible. So if you have a slaughterhouse that is run unethically and the animals are tortured before they die, then you end up with the spiritual load when you consume that meat. If it's farmed unethically, but it's slaughtered ethically, then that will have the spiritual load of the farming. So what do I mean by slaughtering it ethically? So if you look at animals in the wild and how they will deal with, how a carnivore will deal with killing an animal that it's going to eat. Yes, there are rare animals that will play with their food, but generally the idea is kill it as quick as possible, as painlessly as possible, get it out of its misery. And that's what we're after. We're after a form of slaughter that means the animal is not suffering. So if that's all the animal wants, really. Prey animals they don't come to this life expecting to necessarily live a long life. If they get to, that's brilliant, that's wonderful for them. But if they don't, there's an understanding in their contract in coming to the world, coming to life, that the likelihood is they're going to be eaten, whether by us or by another creature. Now, all they expect in that, the other part that's part of their contract, is that they are treated well. That if we are farming them, that we treat them well in our farming them. They have as close to a natural life as possible. So if those things have been upheld, if they have been farmed ethically, if they have been slaughtered in the most ethical way possible, then this shifts things, and so the animal that you are consuming doesn't have the spiritual load. If you eat an animal that has been farmed unethically or slaughtered unethically, then it will have spiritual load. And what that means is you will relive the part of its life that has spiritual load. Now, one animal can feed lots of different people. So each of those people will have some spiritual load from that animal. This doesn't even talk about what happens to the person in the abattoir who treats the animals unkindly. That's a whole nother conversation that I won't go into right now. But the crux of it when it comes to consuming products is if your products are produced ethically, don't have suffering in the making of them, then you won't have that spiritual load. But we do what we can, and the main thing is if you understand this spiritual load and you try your best, then you will minimise the spiritual load you carry when you pass, and that's all you can really do until it gets to the point where something is important enough to you to change it. So it is possible to change things. Eggs, for instance, I refuse to buy cage or barn eggs. I will only buy actual free-range eggs, and the free-range that have the least amount of chickens available per acre. So it's important to make these decisions from an educated standpoint where you can, but understand that some products you're going to buy, they're going to have spiritual load. Okay, so this was a bit heavy. I hope it helps you understand the aspect of things that is not in your realm of being able to control things. So yeah, my name is Natalie Blank. You can find me at natalieblank.com.au, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye.